Hey guys, what's going on? It's me again, looking to make another video for you, looking for another 15-minute game. Um, let's see who's about. Go a bit higher maybe? Okay. So Carpensis. Let's have a look. Been as high as 1968, so we'll take that into consideration. I'll play the Owens defense here. As much as I know of it, again, don't get scared by this theory malarkey too much for openings right now. So the reason I'm playing here is obviously to pin this knight here to the king. So he's given me an option right now of bishop takes, knight, pawn takes, so he's got double pawns in the centre. But the other thing it does for him, though, is it gives him quite a lot of pawns in the middle of the board. And as you can see, I haven't really defined anything yet. I haven't got any of my stuff up there yet. So probably normal here is just to develop. But where are my pieces going to be best? The other thing I can do, I mean, if I do take here and he takes back, then I'm possibly winning this pawn if I can get rid of that bishop. But I don't see a way to do that. So if you look, there's two defenders on this right now. So if I just develop normally knight f6, I think that's probably best for now. So knight f6, if he pushes the pawn down, I'm not too worried, because remember, this knight's pinned to the king. So I'll just pop my knight over here and put more pressure on him. Aha, so now he's pinning me. Okay, so I still have to be careful of that push. Ask this bishop what he wants to do first. Remember, it's that whole thing again where, I'm asking the bishop what he wants to do, because if he gives me the bishop pair and I can find a way to open the centre up later, that's going to be good for me. So just need to find out what he's doing. Okay, so he takes. So I've got the bishop pair. So again, what's my aim? And it just seems to be the same theme this time. I played a really nice positional game yesterday, actually. I was going to go over with you guys. But yeah, he's He's got the same idea here about this bishop pair. The only thing is, if I do take, these double pawns can possibly become weaknesses in the ending if I take this. So then we've got to weigh up. And also, what good a role is my bishop going to play for the rest of the game? I mean, if I play to here, he's going to fork with the pawn push. So I play bishop to d6. He's going to play e5, and remember, that pawn there will be supported by his pawn and his knight, and then he's going to be winning a piece. And there's no checks or anything like that to look for. So that square, obviously, I'm going to get taken. If I leave it, I'm going to get taken. Also, if I pop him here, he's just going to push this pawn down, and he's going to win my bishop there as well. So I think I've either got the move takes, or I've got to pop it back to here on e7. And I don't like that. I don't like that move. And I'll tell you the reason why I don't like it is if I do pop back here and he pushes the pawn, my queen hasn't got a great amount of squares to move to straight away. I suppose I could pop in here. Just all looks a little fragile. Okay, let's do that. Let's do that, because I like to keep the bishop pair anyway here. So we'll play that. I think if he pushes here, I'm going to go queen f4. Not too worried about a lot of this, because he's then going to be opening up this bishop to attack the knight. So just need to make sure we can open this center of the board. If you guys saw my last video, you'll see how this is the exact idea I said straight away in the video. Oh yeah, just open the center of the board. I went to it straight away and then just totally forgot about it and just faffed around a bit. Just thinking I saw other things in the position and that weren't there, maybe, But what's the idea behind queen f4 anyway? Ah, okay, so he's not letting us doing it. So we'll go over that at a different point. Let's have a look. The other thing to think as well, when you're making pawn moves, remember, pawns can't move back, so they're going to be creating weaknesses every time they move forward. And the weaknesses create is a weakness here and a weakness here. just to either side of the pawn. So for instance, now that bishop that looked terrible here can jump here at some point. For instance, if I play a5 to stop him from playing b4, because if I play here and he plays b4 straight away, then I've got to either move back or, So, it's an idea. It's an idea. So, what should I do? Well, what did I talk about 2 minutes ago and totally, overlooking straight away is the fact that I've got the bishop pair. I need to open the center. So if I take, and let's say for instance he takes with the knight, he's then forking the queen and bishop here, so he's going to be winning a bishop back anyway. If I don't do it, what other ideas do I have? If I pop the pawn up here, so just play d6, and then he'll possibly play. Will he play e5 then? No, I doubt it. d6. d6, pawn takes pawn. I'll probably take back with this pawn here, and I'll castle and get the f-file. That's going to be my idea. So I'm going to push this pawn up, so it makes my bishop look a little odd for one move at least. But I've got ideas now of going knight to here, then knight to here, and I'm on his bishop, and I'm in a good square, or knight to here, and then knight to here, and centralising the knight. So we'll have to see how the game goes, what his ideas are as well, where his pieces are going to be best placed, and go from there, really. Things to note in the position. He's got some good development. He just needs to castle, and he's completed his development, really. As soon as he moves his queen out, his rooks will be connected. For me, I've got to develop the knight, and I've got to castle. And then I'll be fully developed as well. The good thing as well to note when you're playing these sort of games, if it does become a closed game, which I'm hoping it doesn't, because I've only really got one knight, and he's got the pair of them, what's going to happen is that manoeuvring pieces around, generally knights are going to be better than bishops in those sort of positions. So, do I need to what they call release the tension? If I play pawn takes pawn and he takes again, we're sort of releasing this tension in the middle. Right now, there's a lot of friction there, so we might want to keep that for the mo. And castle. Again, still looking if he takes and I'm taking back, and I've got this open f-file, or semi-open f-file. The other idea as well, I mean, if you look at his bishop, we could start making that pretty bad by pushing in the middle. I know I said I want to open the centre, but remember, every single position in chess, there's always sort of good, well, say every position, sometimes it's just totally losing or totally winning. But for instance, every normal position that you'll play, there'll be some moves where you go, oh, okay, well, I've got the bishop pair, it is closed up in the middle, but I've got more room for my knight, or my queen's on a good square, and things like that. So we've got to watch for those little nuances in the position, if you like. Let's have a look then. Because I'm a little scared. He's played rook e1. I think he wants to push this pawn pretty soon. He's got a lot of pieces then on it. He's got the knight and the rook. So when he pushes the pawn down, I've got a pawn. So if pawn takes, knight takes, I can't take with the queen because his rook's there. So maybe I've got to just bring the knight in first. So finally finish my development. Queen e2, or rook e2, queen e1, queen d2. This is, I don't see where his pieces are going. So yeah, if we look, I haven't really captured in the centre. Like I said, I was going to open the centre, not yet. However, that may well happen in the not too distant future. It looks like some sort of break needs to be made soon. I mean, if I can swap this bishop off for this knight, then I'll pretty much without a doubt be swapping all these pawns off in the middle. He says. Yeah, it's pretty hard to find good moves in this position for my opponent, really. Well, to my eye, at least, on first glance. I don't see where his pieces really belong right now. I can make his life slightly miserable by playing moves like a6 as well. A6 is purely a move there to stop his bishop coming here. So if we look, if I did have this move already played, have a look at where his bishop can move to. That will do him sort of any good. If he goes there, I'll just take him. If he goes here, he's blocked in by his own pawn. Right, okay, he's blocked in by his own pawn. But now I have no idea of playing b5, which is what I was going to go on to. So, yeah, if we imagine... can we go back one move? Yeah, so if I'd have played that move there, a6, and he'd have played maybe queen e2 or something similar, or queen d2, and I pushed b5, it's going to limit the scope of his bishop even more for a move. Things to think about, and also that I'm still threatening to go knight here, and you know there's a lot of pressure on that bishop, and it doesn't look very good a piece anyway, so you probably want to swap it off, and then the minute he does that, I'm going to start taking these pawns. So, right, anyway, he played a move, so bishop c4. Okay, well, if I get my knight here, I could swap off his knight for my knight, then I'm definitely having the bishop here. I'm definitely opening the board up. Yeah, I think this is the way to play. So I'm swapping this knight off for my knight. I mean, if he doesn't take his bishop's on, and I'll just take the bishop here either way, and I'll definitely open the centre up. So yeah, there we go. Now, how to recapture? This is a good question. If queen takes, he doesn't have anything like f4 because it's not protected by anything. So I can just take that. If I take with the queen, pawn takes pawn. His rook will be discovered on my queen there. However, if I take here, it's not overly bad, but it does give him a good square for his knight to go to. And that's the issue we've got, is that square for his knight. So... yeah, let's take here. Because the more open lines, the better now when we start swapping this off. Queen d2 now looks very nice, because then you can play f4. And all of a sudden my queen looks a little dodgy. He hasn't played that. Okay, so time to get a little active here. I think we're going to have to start breaking something open. I don't really want to take here, just because he'll get a good sort of piece in here, and I don't want that happening straight away. I've still got ideas of, you know, a6 and b5. I just think in the time I've done that, he'll have swapped in the middle anyway. So I need to sort of preempt where my pieces are going to be best. I think, well, I'm going to do a6 anyway. So we're going to stop this bishop coming to at least this square, so he can't sort of infiltrate this way, if you like. Ah, now queen d2, he's looking to go f4. I have to think about this a mo. Okay, bishop here. If he pushes f4, takes. Otherwise he'll have to move the queen again, isn't he? So that was a nice little move. So for h6 being there, it's given us at least some tempos, as they call them, on the queen. So that's another point we'll come to. I mean, I haven't got a massive amount of time, but what is a tempo? A lot of you already know what this is, and you'll probably be using them to your heart's content in games, and you'll probably find that it's winning you a lot of games as well. So when an opponent develops a piece and goes, right, I'm going there, and you can develop something, you know, usually of a lesser material value to attack it straight away, you're almost developing a piece here, and you know that guy's going to move again, so you've gained a move on him. So he could have moved there in one move rather than just going to d2. So he could have gone queen e2 straight away, but he had ideas of playing f4 and So that, yeah, that's a tempo. So we're looking to gain stuff here. Right, now then. If I take, he's got a lot on the queen. So I think we're going to play this for a moment. Where's the bishop going? Back there. Okay, so I have a feeling this file is going to open. So I'm going to just preempt that. So that was the rook move over here. It's just because, you know, if this starts opening up, you know, if I decide to take here maybe later, maybe I can just play c6. Yeah, but if I decide to take here, at some point in the future, I'll have this file towards his king open on that e file. I've just got to watch now. Moves like g3, he is going to be threatening f4. The other thing to note as well is I can't really play f5 myself, so I can't really move that pawn up. Because if you look why, this pawn over here can just chop on e6. So pawn on d5 can take e6, and then all of a sudden it's protected by this bishop up here as well. Right, queen there. Okay, so you might just be getting out of the way of that rook. Maybe I'll play c6. No, yes, maybe. Yeah, so I want to open lines up anyway. So if I play c6, pawn takes pawn, bishop takes. I think at least from a positional point of view, it looks good. So let's have a look. Yeah, so now he's really threatened to play f4. Right, so he's playing this pretty well. Okay, so I'm going to play my bishop back to f6. And if he plays f4, I'm going to play queen check. And I'll trade queens off. Because he'll be overextending a lot of his pawns then as well. And what do I mean by overextending his pawns? Well, you know, when you've got your pawns close to your king... Aha, he hasn't done that just yet. Should I play pawn takes pawn here? See, the light squares are weak around his king, but I don't have a light square bishop to take advantage of that. That can get over there very quickly. So ideally I'd want to take here. So play pawn takes pawn, and then get my bishop on c8, and then get it up here and start looking to mate him around there. That would be one good idea, but it's, can I pull it off? Have I got the time? Because he's got a lot of stuff against my queen here. Maybe I should play like a prophylactic move, like just queen over here or something first. Yeah, let's try that. Makes it complicated if nothing else. So I've used a lot of time right now, so I'm going to have to start playing a little quicker in a mo. So you may have to excuse if I can't comment it all again, commentate everything I'm doing. The other thing we'll get into in time as well is positional evaluation, where I think that, you know, he's better or whether I'm better in a position and where our pieces are in comparison to like ideas and plans and what they want to do. A lot of this you can't, you know, you can't really commentate in 5 minutes. I mean, it's hard to, it's tough enough seemingly to do it in 15 minutes. But it's one of those things where, you know, we need to You know, have a look at doing that as chess players to see, you know, see where our pieces are best placed and all that, and what, you know, what we're going to do with them in the long run. So I'm having a little think here. People will probably ask me, did you miss that? And truthfully, I didn't miss that. It's one of those pawn sacrifices where maybe it's not working for me, but I just felt my position would be okay because I thought I could play bishop c8, and again with this whole idea of pushing that pawn and coming up around these light squares here. Whether that will happen, I don't know. Let's have a quick look. Ooh. Okay, so I'm going for this. I'm going to take this way. Queen's probably going to take on here. So queen takes there, and I can play rook c8 now. So the bishop's protected. There's pressure on this. So, like for instance, if bishop takes knight, then this pawn is looking pretty weak. He's only protected by the rook. So maybe queen here, and his ideas then of looking to checkmate up that way. That's my idea. Whether this will work out, I don't know. But again, it's that thing as well where I've got the bishops, and sometimes if you're forced to sacrifice a pawn, say if you've totally missed a move, and you are forced to get rid of a pawn, if you've got both bishops on, I mean that's probably going to be better for you a lot of the time. Anyway, you know, not every time, but a lot of the time it'll be good for you because you want to open these lines up. We got two rooks, two bishops, and a queen. They all like, you know, these long open lines, diagonals, and files, and so I want to look at doing that. It's been a very good game so far, and he's only used a few minutes of his time, so I'll have to speed up a little here. What move's he going to make though? Okay, so rook here to attack again. I guess maybe queen e2 to trade the queens off and protect that. But then I'll just take. So you can't really play that, I don't think. It's complicated though, but I think, yeah, if he plays that, I'll be happy. Queen takes queen. I mean, if rook takes d8, then rook takes d8, rook takes e2, and I've got this guy at the end of it. So let's just go through that again. Queen e2, queen takes queen, rook takes check. I always look for those little intermediate moves. Oh, queen e3. Okay, so I'm going to take here first. I expect he'll take with the rook. Oh, I don't think he should though. Because my queen will be... Oh no, he's taking with the knight, okay. Yeah, if he'd have taken with the rook, he was looking to lose a piece after my bishop would have chopped his knight. So now I'll just go over here. He'll probably go knight c3 again, won't he? But if he does, if he goes knight back to c3... No, he doesn't. But then I get this, don't I? Hang on, am I missing something? Bishop d4 pins the queen to the king. I can't stop that, I don't think. Okay, let's not spend too much time. I've got a minute then to clean up. So, like I say, I might become very fast at the end here. Just take on here. So again, when you're ahead in material, trade down. The other thing we're looking at here as well is bishop takes on here, and I'm threatening mate as well if I get rid of this knight. So look for sacrifices and things. So like rook takes here instead, rook takes knight, rook takes, and then mate in one. Those kind of ideas. So all tactics, guys. Chess tempo. I know the sites like chess.com, I think, have got some free daily tactics you can do. There's a lot of sites out there that do them. I think Emerald Chess is one I haven't used for quite a while. I'm sure it's that. I could be wrong with a link. I'm sure somebody will be quick to tell me different. So yeah, there's that site also to have a look at for your tactics. Yeah, all good fun. All good fun. Yeah, I think the game was pretty even. Hang on a sec then. Let's have a look. Is he forcing me to do what I want to do anyway? So, or is it quicker to go? Yeah, I'm gonna take here. I'm gonna take here. I was thinking maybe rook to d2. In fact, that looks totally winning. But yeah, with a minute left on the clock, I think this is also good. Right. So, yes, careful of this. Yeah. So, can I not go? So now I've got multiple threats of mate on this square, so I think he has to take. So I'm going to pre-move this, because again, 38 seconds. Yeah. Well, I just played queen e1, I think. Let's just check. Because remember, this square, this bishop here, does all those, controls all those light squares. So if I go here, he can't really get out. Yeah. Good game. Good game. So that was my idea for this game. Like I said, it got a bit hairy with the time there, but we were cool and confident under the pressure and all that. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this one. What I'll do actually, we'll have a quick little look through the game from start. So again, remember this is just the name the Owens defense. It's just a name for the first few moves I'm making here. So again, he conceded the bishop pair early. In hindsight with this game, looking at where my bishop went, so I've learned something from this myself. Now, my bishop and queen lined up here. I mean, a knight in here would fork those two anyway, so I'd be kind of losing this bishop pair. But I didn't really allow him much of a chance to do this, because I'm not releasing this tension. If I take and knight takes, then he gets what he wants anyway. So I'm not doing that. I'm letting him do it to me. So when I take back with the f pawn, he can't jump in there. Yeah, so the a6 little move here, if I back up one. So the a6 move, again, was just to limit the scope of his pieces. So really he's only playing them with the knight. But to an extent, he's only really using this knight, and that's at the moment just protecting these centre pawns. It might jump to e2 later and then maybe f4 or something similar. But that bishop's not really doing a huge amount. On the other hand, my bishop also isn't doing a great amount. So I'd rather be both of us with one inactive piece each than me being the guy with one inactive and he being both pieces active. The other thing as well I noticed, which I didn't mention to you, when I was playing this position, I think maybe it's becoming more of a natural thing for me now, is that seeing the pawns like this, if this pawn does go away, my bishop will just jump to this diagonal and off we go, up this way. So, like I say, I mean, if this does swap off at some point in time, this bishop won't stay on this diagonal because it'll just be looking at a pawn, you know, and that's not really what you want and in this kind of position. You want to get outside this little, well, it's a pawn chain right now, but you know, you want to get outside of that so it's got more scope. Because if we look at the bishop now, how many squares can he move to? 2. Without being captured. So you can move to 2 squares. You know, if I jump down here and that pawn's gone, all of a sudden we've got all of these we could possibly jump to at some point. You know, yes, he could be captured by that right now if this pawn was gone. But I mean, after f5 and he takes, my bishop's then developing, you know, to a very good square with lots of diagonals he can jump to. So that was another point to look for in the game. Yeah, in your games. So again, this is the Tempe move I was telling you about. So the queen could have gone straight to e2, but instead he decided to go to d2 because he was looking at this nice little f4 push, and you've got to give him credit for that. So bishop g5 hits the queen, and he's got to move again. So it's kind of a wasted move, and now I'm getting more pressure on this bishop. So the bishop backs off, and all of a sudden, if we count the pieces that are really active right now, and it's going to be my bishop here. It looks pretty active. My queen here looks active. It's very centralized. It's got a lot of influence in the center. But on the flip side, my rooks haven't gone to the correct squares yet. Again, right now, I wouldn't say I know exactly where they'd need to go to. I think rook needs to come to e8. Whether it's the f rook though, I don't know. I wanted to kind of hang on to this f file. I'm hoping that once he takes and I take back, this file will open up. It'll be very nice for me. So, which is why, yeah, rook e8 on the next move. So I finally finished my developments. These are the things I'm going through in my head when I'm playing the game. As you can see, I can't see the moves here, so I can't remember the exact order I played this in. Even though it was 2 minutes ago. So you played there. And yeah, this is where, again, I'm looking at open lines up. Like I said, I don't mind so much losing a pawn for it. But truthfully, I don't. It wasn't really much of a consideration. I didn't see my position crumbling if he managed to take that because it's got no real support. So I thought, if he takes and I take back, if he can win something else somehow, my queen's protecting that right now. But if he can win something else, then it doesn't hugely matter because a lot of the time having the bishop pair will outweigh, the win of one pawn from your opponent because more lines will become open. And that's taking into consideration that your opponent doesn't have the bishop pair also. Okay, so g3, the definite threat of f4. So I pop this here, and again, this is a nice little move because a lot of the time you'll see people playing f4 in positions like this. Just a simple bishop to d4 check on the king. Sorry, queen d4 check. Queen really has to take, otherwise you're taking, and they're going to get some double pawns here in the middle. Right, so yeah, after rook over, I'm just making moves with the queen here to get it into a nicer position. Again, I've still got this idea in my mind of going bishop c8, which I explained to you in the video. So yeah, here I don't mind, and I've realised that also when he takes the pawn, rook c8 now is also a good move. In fact, it's probably even better than playing my initial idea of going maybe bishop back to b7. So we look after this pawn so the queen can't come in and chomp that, and then bishop c8. And then trying to push this. But the thing is, it looks like it takes too much time. Maybe he can just push straight away. Probably not because of bishop here. But those are the things I was considering. I don't want to be taking a few moves to go bishop here, only for him to just stop me altogether by blocking my pawn in. So I kind of wanted to... then I sort of reconsidered, played rook c8. Rook d8 is good. That's again winning a little move, a little time on the queen here. Queen over. Rook takes. Again, this little tactic here. He took with the knight. If he takes with the rook, bishop takes knight. He can take with the pawn or with the queen, and then all of a sudden my queen is on his rook with check. So he's, these are little tactics to watch for. But of course he saw that. He's quite strong. Again, a lot of the time these greys don't match their actual rating, although I don't think many 1700s would also miss that. I don't know. I have had people miss them before against me. So rook d8, and then this move, yeah, f3, and again this is that thing I was saying about overextending your pawns. I mean, this doesn't look like a grossly bad way to do it, but it certainly creates weaknesses. Like I was saying earlier in the video, when you move a pawn forwards, you're going to create a weakness, and usually to the side of the pawns here, and that is the weakness right there. So bishop here, pin into the king, and it's just a GG. Game over. Really. So from here on out, I know I didn't have much time, but again, matter of sort of technique. Just want to trade all this stuff down, get as much material off as you can. Looking at that again. Yeah, I'm still thinking rook d2. I don't see a way for him to really stop a mate coming very soon. So sometimes maybe capturing all the material isn't best, but this is still definitely winning. this is a nice move. Notice here, if I'd have taken the rook, and then he takes back with a knight, I still can't play my queen on here for checkmate, you know, with support of the bishop, because his knight can just jump back and take the queen, and that would be embarrassing. So that didn't happen. All good. Yeah, and another consideration here as well, the knight is still looking after that square. Maybe we could just go g5, you know. Is he going to lose more material by wanting to, you know, leave the knight there to keep protecting it? He's got to protect it, he can't really move again, because it'll be mate anyway. So, but that was also checkmate. So it looks after the dark squares here, and this looks after the light squares, and he can't go anywhere. So, yeah. That was a good game. I enjoyed that one. Hopefully you guys did too. Again, if you can subscribe and put any sort of comments or questions on YouTube, that'll be awesome as well. Okay, cheers guys. Take it easy, and I'll see you.